I just want to make sure I understand that we're going to have what's going to be the Mike Bohr Show, where I guess twice a month you're going to talk to the people of Cobb County and surrounding areas as to what's going on in their county.
Right. Well, as you know, today's world requires you to use all aspects of social media. The day of just reading about events around you in the newspaper, those are days of, it was a great history, but those days are gone. Right. So using the internet, using social media, that's all in part of our strategic communications plan. But the bottom line is that I was talking to some kids last week, and they're not really kids; they were third graders who asked some really great questions about the SunTrust Stadium and my actions surrounding that. And matter of fact, I told one of the local newspapers that if they're looking for some panelists for the next candidate forum, they should go to this third grade class and find these kids because they were terrific. But I want to get the people in Cobb County to start realizing that we are nothing more than their neighbors, even though we're government. And we want to reach out to them. And as I think that they come to see that we really are invested in this process, they will start to engage more, and that word will get out, and they'll become more understanding about all the things we're trying to do here on this big ship called Cobb County. So I'm really excited about doing this program.
Well, and I'm excited about it too. You reminded me of a dear friend of mine, the late Jack Kemp, when you talked about kids getting excited in third grade and going at a very early age, getting accustomed to their civics, living their civics out instead of just reading about it.
Absolutely.
Well, Jack worked with me very closely, and he had a great love for kids of all ages in all areas. And I remember him saying to me, Joe, make sure that you spend as much of your time as you can to put back into the community with these kids. So we have a program called Legends and Kids, and we run it through the NFL alumni and other chapters. I'm also working with the Braves alumni so that we can make these legends and kids work together. And hopefully they will be tuning in to find out what the new chairman is about and the things that they can contribute as kids to the program overall.
Well, yes, and as you well know, I've said this many, many times, service, public service is in my DNA. I spent 30 years as a Marine serving my country. That's all I know how to do is serve. It's how I ran, how I plan to lead. And one of the things that concerned me about during our campaign was during the low voter turnout. We have to do a much better job, I think, of reaching out to the voters in Cobb County. And we start young, starting in the high schools, registering the vote at 18, letting them know that the future's in their hands. And you can't have the tyranny of the minority if you're not engaged. So I'm fully committed to expanding our program to get voters to come out. But I also want to expand our effort to touch people in Cobb County, let them know that this is their county, this is how we're spending their tax dollars, and if they have an issue with that, we want to hear from them.
And you know what I like about that as well, Colonel, is that when I talk about legends and kids, when I first started it was just athletes. But I'm looking at a legend here right now. These kids need to understand that not only your colonel in the military, went to Notre Dame, one of the best schools in this country, but also that you're making legendary acts as we go forward right now in this new exciting time in Cobb County.
That's right. Yes. We live in I think in one of our first conversations, I think I told you this campaign can be transformative. And at that time, it was in the very incipient stages, but the reality is that the nature of our campaign showed that we meant that. We had a true grassroots campaign. And we went out and reached lots of people. They said retail politics is not possible in today's world. That's just not true. If you have the commitment to the people, you'll go out there and you'll ask them to join you, and that's what they did here. So I want to continue this transformation through our campaign into how we lead the people. I want to once again let them reassure them that this government is their government. We work for them.
Right.
And I'm going to do everything I possibly can to transform the nature of how we address connect with the people, but also the various mechanisms we do to use that.
And you made a good example of that to our young folks when some of the campaigns, during the campaign, some of the negative things that were thrown after you. I don't recall one time when you went negative, the way they were coming negative at you. And all I can say is that that's a good example for kids. What I try to do every day is teach kids how to behave and how to conduct themselves and to use good manners, and that's how you ran your campaign. I really appreciate that.
Well, even though I'm retired, I'm still an officer and a gentleman, and I still believe in respect and decorum. And I think it's also important that the kind of message you convey And as you and I both know, I have a very deep spiritual walk.
Yes, sir.
And as I told my church community, regardless of what happened after the campaign, I wanted to be able to walk down through my church community and they say, there's a guy who represented our values.
Yes, sir.
And I think that's the kind of role model we need to set for our kids. And when they see that doing it, you know, regardless of your walk of life, then they will emulate that.
Absolutely. And I'm just glad to be on the team. I'm glad to be a partner with you. And long before I got involved with politics with you, I was always in Bible study with you. I just want to say thank you and God bless you.
God bless you too, Joe. And thanks for all you're doing for our team.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right.
We'll be back in just a moment.